So Jerry was on with the KNC Masterpiece the other day. Bobby Belt sat in, and they asked, are there extension talks taking place for George Pickens right now, who's having the all-world season?
You make that an either-or, and I'm not trying to have issue with the way you're phrasing your question today. But any and everything about George Pickens is crossing our mind.
Ooh. I like to hear that.
And when you say, does that generate conversations? It certainly can generate conversations between people in our building without George being in the room. And it can cause a lot of conversation, I'm sure, around the league. But the answer is certainly he's a topic of interest and discussion because of the success he's had.
In reacting to the interview afterwards, Bobby asked Kevin and Corey, what did you make of Jerry saying we've discussed any and all George Pickens options? Does that leave the door open to maybe dealing him, as some have suggested, if the Cowboys season goes south? Kevin Hagelin then with the follow-up. Jerry Jones replay, of course, brought to you by Window Nation. Why not just extend Pickens right now?
Well, there's no reason not to. There's no reason to. And so I can't give you a why not other than the timing might not be good for any of the parties involved. And so and that has many, many reasons, not only from the player's perspective, but from the club's perspective. You're asking that question that I've had asked a million times in my life by my mama, by my wife. Why did you do it? Hell, I don't know why I did it. I was just there.
Now, go ahead.
I'm just saying, there's so much about the way he's talking right now about different scenarios and different things like that. That feels like when you asked earlier, like, does the next two games change anything for us? There's so much about the way he's talking that makes me feel like the next two games is going to determine things for him. In general, about the outlook for the team and what he wants to do with it.
I just wonder and ask, does someone sneak in and undercut you if you do wait 2 more weeks? Looking at a team wearing green right now on the television. Let me now connect the dots to Charles Robinson, who joined us yesterday. It was fantastic. Bobby booked him from Yahoo Sports. And he was talking about Trey Hendrickson, Jeffrey Simmons, Cowboy interest. One NFC personnel source noted that the impending free agency of Pickens could end up being a motivating factor too. Quote, that Pickens acquisition has really worked, but they need to push it now. It's going to be hard to pay Pickens what he'll command in free agency. Even if you set aside the personality risks, the Cowboys would be so top-heavy on offense if they paid him. It becomes the Bengals. That got one-dimensional really fast. I think the Pickens negotiation starts at the T. Higgins deal. I'm sure there's an impulse to maximize George while they have him for this run, then tackle the contract bridge at the scouting combine in February. By the way, the Higgins deal is 4 for $115. Kevin Hagelin, that equals out to what?
It's less than 30.
Which he told us
28.
He told us Charles Robinson told us yesterday that deal is essentially 2 for $59. That you would be able to have some flexibility with it. If he's going to mirror the deal that T. Higgins got, he would have some flexibility there.
The NFC personnel source noted the Pickens price point factors at the deadline in 2 ways. On one hand, if they commit to paying him that Higgins deal, it could push Dallas to sit pat at the deadline with the sensibility that it needs to use the draft capital to gain talent on cheap rookie contracts to balance out the salary cap issues that a Pickens deal will create. Conversely, if Jerry feels like Pickens is pricing himself out of an extension here, it creates space to acquire a veteran in a trade now to maximize the remaining games with George while opening up space to retain that veteran beyond 2025 since Pickens will be let go in free agency. As the personnel source put it, quote, it can come down to the conversation where it's like, do we keep Pickens and all that comes with that, or do we go the other way for a guy at the deadline, keep him long-term, Hendrickson, knowing that Pickens' salary slot opens when he leaves after the year? I thought that was fascinating. It's uncomfortable because we're all in love with George Pickens right now, especially RJ Choppy. What do we make of it?
If you walked away from Pickens at this point, like given what let's assume he just continues to carry this throughout the year. Yeah, if you carry this through the end of the year and he plays like he's been playing, the reaction would be more negative than the Micah one, I think.
Yeah.
I think the reaction to bringing him in here, having it work so well, and then having him walk away would have people, I think they would understand that less than they did the Micah trade.
I don't disagree.
They would rather you trade him before the deadline than let him walk away for nothing.
Well, you get a third.
Yeah, in theory, you would get a third-round comp
Still
pick.
nothing. As far as for what he's done this year, that's nothing.
Cowboys would look at it as we got the 1 year out of Pickens and ultimately gave up nothing because we got the third back.
I think fans would be more ticked trading him now than him leaving after the year, even if you got something back. Yeah, because right now we're caught up in the greatness of his season.
We are, but I think most fans see this also as a gap year. They don't see this as a chance.
Oh, I think you're misjudging Cowboy fans. I think many may. What are you making a face for?
NBA news.
Nobody cares.
Chauncey Billups has been arrested as well.
Oh.
What?
Chauncey Billups has been caught up in this gambling scheme that got Terry Rozier arrested.
Oh, my God.
Chauncey Billups was arrested, according to Sham Sharani, by the FBI this morning.
Oh.
That's a big deal. That's a head coach.
Wow. Adam Silver had just said yesterday he asked their partners like Underdog to back off prop bets. They had gotten them to back off prop bets because of the fixing. You look disgusted. I get it.
I'm disgusted. I mean, that's not. Adam, I'm sorry, Adam. Like, that's not their problem.
Well, are they partners?
Are we not gamblers? You and I? Why should this affect us?
Well,
if the league feels like it affects the integrity of their game, they're going to enforce certain things. They're gonna start.
The league should enforce it. Yeah, start throwing players out.
Chauncey Billups arrested by the FBI? Wow.
That's insane.
Breaking news right here on 105.3 The Fan. Okay, back to Pickens. So let's have a team building discussion, okay? War room, all the scenarios. RJ, you're always talking about smart team building. If you give George Pickens, first off, is there a price per year where you have to say no to George? Look how he's playing. It's insane. It's awesome. And then if you pay him, do you become the Bengals? I think that's a great point in this.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Which the Bengals are always a Super Bowl contender.
But
every year, but we all know what's going to happen. Either Burrow's going to get hurt or they don't have an offensive line.
Yeah.
They can't stop it.
And their defense was awful last year.
And it was. And their offensive line has been...
With Hendrickson.
And their offensive line has gotten Burrow hurt.
Yep.
What happens when you have a top-heavy roster is you've got to hit on young defensive players. Like, that's just the reality of it. The Cowboys have missed too many times on defense. You know, obviously, you miss on Mozzie. That's a miss, right? You can't sign Diggs and Bland on your defense. You know, if you have such a top-heavy up. They got 3 first-round picks in the offensive line. They've all got to be paid.
Yeah, they paid Tyler.
Right? You still got 2 others. Now, right now you're not paying Guyton.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, who do you need to pay? So Booker,
you're going to have to pay Booker eventually.
Booker, if you're 4 years from that, yeah,
you got 4 years. But you've got to pay guys. It's tough. It's brutal.
What's the number for George if it's 30 a year?
Okay, so
would you rather have George 30 a year for the next 3 seasons or Hendrickson on this team?
George.
Okay.
It's $125 million for those
like all of a sudden, right? All they've been preaching is the cap relief from the Micah deal and how it's allowed them to pay Bland and allowed them to pay Tyler and allowed them to do this and think about that. Do you go right back to being handcuffed by the cap if you pay Pickens?
My max out's probably 90 million guaranteed. Yeah, like an average of 30. You can call it 35 if you want. I don't care. But 90 million guaranteed over 3 years would be my limit.
And what's Mulligetta going to ask for? And if you know, if you know Micah got 7 more than Jerry was willing to pay, you're dealing with the shark of all sharks.
Mm-hmm.
if you know that it's going to be 5 over, do you tag him? That's what we were agreeing on last week, Bobby. You just keep him, you tag him. How ugly can that get? Or do you deal him now for what could be a very sweet, nice package, even though you're in the hunt?
I don't see. I know the T. Higgins one is the one that keeps getting referenced. I don't see any way Pickens is under Higgins, because there's another added dynamic here of, you mentioned the agent. That's the same agent who split ways with T. Higgins, and then T. Higgins got his deal. I don't think he's going to sign for a deal that T. Higgins got. You got to go over Higgins. I'm going to show you what Higgins should have got. I'll get that for Pickens.
Again, it's Mulligeta. You got to add 3 or 4 more. That's what he does. Stop me where you think it's fair. Jamar's making 40. Jefferson's 35. Lamb's 34. DK is 33. So I think right there, man, that for me is matching DK at 33 or 34.
Yeah.
Then Garrett Wilson, 32.5. McLaurin's 32. AJ's 32. Amon-Ra's 30. Tyreek is 30. Ayuk, he's already passed those guys.
Yeah. If you are going to sign him, you cannot use the Green Bay picks to get a player. You have to use them to draft, because then you're going to need cheap labor.
Yep.
And your best bet.
That means not buying at this deadline for win now defensive help.
What that means is also
people are going to freak out over that too.
They're going to freak out over anything you do, right?
The thing they'll freak out the least about is if you re-sign George.
Right. And I'm okay with re-signing George. So what you're going to do with those Green Bay picks is you probably use the Green Bay picks and you trade down from your picks,
Get
which
more
are probably
bodies.
going to be higher. So let's say the Cowboys finish, with the 12th pick this year, right? Trade down, get the 17th or 18th pick up what? Second rounder, third rounder, whatever.
Sure.
Do that twice. Do that this year, do that next year, and now you've restocked your system.
By the way, compensation-wise, Charles Robinson with his Yahoo sources put the trade value range of Hendrickson at a second-round ceiling or a more reasonable basement of a third-rounder and another later pick in the 5th or 6th. As for Justin Simmons, Titans have signaled privately he's still in their long-term plans. League sources have put it at a likely first-round pick plus price tag if a trade occurs, with the plus being either a mid-round or a serviceable starter alongside the first. Great stuff from Robinson.
DK Metcalf, his deal was 4 for $132. It's 33 a year. It was only $60 million guaranteed. So his deal, and it's his signing bonus and his 2025 and his 2026 salary, which means there's no guaranteed money after the first 2 years. So again, we're talking about like structures. His is basically 2 for $60. If you signed that exact structure with Pickens and said it's $33 million a year for 4 years, but really it's a $30 million deal for 2 years, I would do that and not even think about it.
And you would, when you tie that
and then
in,
be exposed defensively, probably.
But I mean, there's
gonna have to win shootouts for the next couple years.
There's things that you would be able to work at that point. So if Pickens is still, the reason why teams will structure it that way. So let's say he's got a 2-year deal or he's got a 4-year deal. So after year 1, if you're looking like you're in a little bit of a pinch, you've got no guaranteed money in the back 2 years. So you could say, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take his $30 million salary and I'm going to turn $20 million of it into a signing bonus. And I'm going to give him that money. And I just have shifted 2/3 of the money to the back years and I freed up space to be able to do this.
When will it get accept essentially 2-year 60?
It just depends. It depends on how much he thinks, I would imagine, how much he thinks the volatility of George's personality would make him vulnerable in the open market.
And that 2-year window would kind of run alongside Dak's contract window, because after 2027, he's got a $78-something million cap hit, and his dead cap, you can get out of it. You'd save $40 million, or you have to restructure. And are you going to re-sign a 35-year-old quarterback? So that's the question.
What's the downside of tagging him? Besides,
you can't manipulate the money.
Yeah, but
the tag number I'm seeing, again, I've already seen AI wrong once this morning. They said Wemby had 1 dunk last night, so I shouldn't even go to this anymore. It says the franchise tag for a receiver is 24. So why is
it is the projected number in 2026 for the franchise tag is $28 million.
Okay,
according to Spotrac. It was 26 this past year.
All right, so 28.
Mm-hmm. And that's his cap number at that point.
Yeah,
because it's all of it. So if he signed a 4-year deal, and for instance, if you've got him and his salary is $2 million and he's got a signing bonus, like his salary next year is $2 million and his signing bonus was 40, well, you take that $42 million, the combined of the signing bonus and salary, and you would divide that by 4 years. And that ultimately is what becomes, so it would end up being $10.5 million would be his cap number as opposed to 28 next year.
Yeah, obviously that is a humongous deal. My positive for tagging him, and I've been burned by this here in terms of wait and see, burned me with the first Dak deal. I'd like to see one more year and a half of good behavior from George. Now Dak Prescott, he'd come in here and slap me across the face because they're telling you he's incredible. All indications are he's incredible. And that wired up audio, Cowboy Tolos were losing their minds over how amazing Pickens was mic'd up against the Commanders. So Dak would probably say that's zero concern. I would maybe just want to see it for one more year, but then you have the higher cap number. Maybe the price continues to go up. Maybe he is unhappy. As for what it does to your football team, you're handicapped defensively if you do it.
Yeah, you're throwing all 7 of your top 100 picks the next 2 years at defense, probably, or 6 of the 7. There's not going to be a lot of capital that you're going to throw at the offense.
My final ruling for, I can't believe freaking Chauncey Billups got arrested by the FBI.
That's insane.
I can't believe it. My final ruling on what it does for the football team is you got to keep George Pickens because he gives you your superpower right now. Dak is walking in doing pregame dances every week because he's got CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. And I don't think, if you have to suffer, and you probably would defensively, you suffer, this is the Cowboys' superpower, and I'm not getting away with it. Even though you can say, well, if Dak is $60 million, he should be able to have someone come in and be the number 2.
Which he did with CeeDee Lamb being out for 3-4 weeks and playing really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's his job was to find Ryan Flanoy. He did
for
that
a game,
and he did it for a game. That's Josh Allen's job right now. He doesn't have Josh Allen doesn't have Jerry Rice out there.
Yeah,
it's his job to find somebody else.
What are the Tolos saying before we get into the watch?
Sean 214 says Pickens over Trey. 302 says sign George now or they'll regret it. The Cowboys will regret it. 817 trade Pickens for a second-round pick. 214 says George's agent might be an issue overall.
What would I have to get back from a team to make you sign off on dealing him? To make you just feel great about a team-building move? A first and a third?
I mean, a first, I feel good.
Yeah.
You feel good.
Yeah, you took a third-round pick, got him for 7 weeks, and made him a first-round player. I'd feel good about getting. I don't necessarily want to do it. Like I'm not just looking to throw him out of town. But if I can get a first-round pick and already know I've got Lamb,
what about a second and a third?
I don't feel as good.
I don't feel as good. I mean, that's still good value. I mean, you're flipping a third for a second and a third, so you're getting your own pick back and a 2. But again, what's the record? Are we doing it today? Or are we doing 2 weeks from 3-5 or 4-4?
4-4.
Yeah. And one.
Don't take
that from him.
And one.
4-4-1. That's maybe.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's who are we looking at here? So if it's one of these teams let's take a team like, I'm just kind of
trying to figure out
the Chargers. The Chargers are kind of middle of the pack right now, to where you're telling me they may make the playoffs, or this might be pick 14 if you get a first-round pick from them, depending on which way this turns for them.
And then you have, I mean, you could get, you have 3 first-round picks. My gosh.
I can't believe I'm saying this, though.
I want to keep him, but
how much does George Pickens' chemistry put this over the top in the Cowboys' favor? I can't believe I'm saying this. This is the most toxic player in the league, in many people's opinions, myself included, last year. And now there's such a kumbaya and such chemistry. I might overpay him for that if it's that legit behind the scenes, like it seems.
You were talking about over the weekend when they released the sounds from the sideline. Everybody was just like, "Oh my gosh, George Pickens! Look at him! What a dog! What a team guy!"
Dak's in love.
Yeah, everybody
Dak
loves him.
may love him more than Lamb even right now. They absolutely love him. So that's why we wanted to save this, empty all the discussion.